Greetings, everyone. Welcome again to the Business Automation Show presented by C Sharp Corner Community. So, this is our second session. So, we have been, talking about that how automation can be used for your different process on your organization or whatever your job responsibilities. How you can automate your process. So, this is all about that automation. Okay. So here we will be talking about different scenarios. So we will be taking different use cases, different case studies, and we will showcase that how you can automate those process using Microsoft ecosystem. Okay, so this is our second show, and I have with me my friend Sandeep. So we both are hosting this show. So let's have a quick introduction about ourselves. I'm going to share my PPT. So myself, Mahinder, and my friend Sandeep is with me. We both are Microsoft MVPs, and we have more than 10 years of experience on Microsoft technologies. So we both are C Sharp Corner MVPs as well. So here is the agenda that we are going to talk today. Just a second. Yeah, so this that is the high level agenda that we will talk today. So we'll start with the basic introduction about today's use case. So what we are taking in today's, what is the scenario that we are taking? So what is the proposed solution? So we have thought of that we can solve that process. We can automate that process, and then what are the components that we are going to use from the Microsoft ecosystem? So we'll touch base those Microsoft Forms, Power Automate, Excel Online, and then we will have a demo for all this process, and we'll show step-by-step process on that, how we can build this automation. Okay. So in today's scenario, we are going to talk about that reimbursement process. Okay. So this is a very common process that is done in most of the organizations, right? So when you are spending money on something, so let's take an example that you are working in corporate, and maybe you are visiting client, or maybe you are buying some accessories for your office, or maybe you are ordering some food from based on that office expenses, and you paid for that, right? But that is the money that you paid. You want that money back from your business, from your company, right? So that is the process that what we call is reimbursement, that the money that you have spent, you want to get your money, and as soon as possible, right? So whenever we are spending money, we want to get our money as soon as possible, right? But most of the time this process is done manually. So maybe there will be some kind of reimbursement forms. So manually you will be filling that form, and maybe you will submit that form to your HR, and then maybe your HR will submit that form to your manager, and they will review it, and then after that they will send maybe to the finance team, and then they will approve or give that amount to you. Okay. So there are multiple steps involved here, right? And when we are talking about that manually you are doing this process, so it means that your form, or the physical form, or the email you are sending, or you are passing to the next person, it may be that they may take some time, right? And you need to wait for that. And then after from one person to another person, again it can passing that information can take time, right? And maybe in between some time, if let's say they have many forms, right, and they have many requests, maybe they can misplace your request as well, right? So there are chances that your this complete process can be delayed, and you won't get your amount in time, or maybe that completely the forms is totally misplaced, and you need to restart the process again, right? So to solve that issue, that what we are saying here, that we can easily automate this process using the Microsoft ecosystem tools. Okay. So we are going to use some of the tools. For example, we are going to use that this form. Let's say I'm saying that maybe there is a physical form, or maybe you are sending email. But let's take an example. We want to make it electronic form, right? Or some online form where you can fill the detail so that your details will be stayed there. They won't be misplaced somewhere, right? And when the form is submitted, all the details you can put your, okay, what was that, when it was done, okay, what was the amount on that you spent. Maybe automatically there, some of the your managerial information will be there. Who is your manager? Maybe some information from that HR. So all that related information can be filled on the form, and then further we can start that form to the next process. So that's what we are going to talk about here. So let's talk about, like, first thing, that what is the proposed solution. So there can be different ways we can automate any manual process. So one potential option that we are going to talk about here is using Microsoft Forms. So this will be a front end, or the UI where you will be feeding all the details. So if you are an employee, and you will put all the details there, and then this information will be passed to the Power Automate. Okay, and the Power Automate is basically the automation engine that we are using here, which will basically extract that information. So whatever information you have fed it on the Microsoft Forms, it will get that information, and based on that it will decide that, okay, what should be the next step. Okay, so like for example, it will identify that, okay, this form is submitted by this person, and who is the manager for this person. So this, then that notification will go to that manager, and that can be notification, it can be through the email, or it can be a team notification. So it will be basically start that approval process, right? So when of course, like when you are spending money, sometimes there are some limit, right? Up to that amount you can spend. Okay, and if the amount is under that limit, it will be easily approved by the manager, right? But if it's above the limit, maybe there is another process that manager need to take approval from his manager or her manager. So depending on that, it can be different approval process depending on the company to company, organization to organization, right? So once this approval is done, then we are going to collect this information on a centralized location. So here we are using Excel Online, where all the reimbursement records will be stored. Maybe one from you, one from others. So all that department person or different employees, all the data will be stored on there, so that at any point of time we want to create any kind of reporting from that data, or maybe they want to export their data or print the data, or maybe send their data to somewhere, or to higher manager, or they want to see that, okay, for this quarter how much reimbursement is done, okay, for this year how much reimbursement is done, or how much we spend on that, right? So those kind of reporting can be done. So for that we are using Excel Online here, where we will be storing that information, right? And after that there will be notification. For the notification we are using Outlook. So from that Power Automate, it will send that notification. Okay, so your reimbursement request that you have submitted, that is approved by your manager, right? Or if there is some issue, or there is some differences on that, maybe there is some it may be different thing can happen, right? If you are not authorized to spend that money, that maybe that you will get your request will be rejected. So whatever it is, rejected or approved, you will get a notification from the Power Automate. So that's the proposed solution that we are going to showcase today. So here, the first thing that we are using is Microsoft Forms. So this Microsoft Forms is a very useful Microsoft ecosystem product, and we can use for this multiple purpose. As you can see here on the screen, it is a very easily drag and drop controls are there. You can easily generate your forms, so it will look like just kind of HTML forms or any web forms. Okay, so those controls are there. You can simply drag and drop there. So it's available on the free of cost, and there are some feature that is required, subscription for that. And you can use it for the different purpose. You can, for use, like for example, we are using for the reimbursement process. But if you want to do some kind of survey, if you want to get some feedback from your customers, so you can use for different type of purposes. This can be done. Okay. And of course you can restrict that, when someone is using, so you can totally control that security, that who can use that. Okay, so depending on that, this form can be shared with that user, and they can fill that detail. And that forms, basically the data that you will be stored, it will be stored on the your tenant on your Microsoft subscription. Okay, so if you want to see that how many forms are submitted, and again, there are some we can say lightweight reporting is also there. You can see that how many forms are submitted, how many forms are completed, how many are not done. So if something like, for example, if you are using for survey, so you can see that how much survey is completed, how much survey is not completed. So that can be done on the Microsoft Forms. And it also has, it's not that complex, but you can easily put some type of controls here. So like for example, if you want to check something, so based on that you can do here checking as well. So those type of controls available on the Microsoft Forms. And the automation engine that we are using here, that is Power Automate. And Power Automate, as we discussed in last time, this is a cloud service. So this, workflow service where we can automate our repetitive tasks depending on the scenario, different scenarios. It can be different. So we can create from the blank, or we can use templates. So there are some templates that is provided by Microsoft. Those template can be used, and we have some specific events, and we call them like basically triggers. Okay, so based on the triggers and based on the actions, we can perform different type of functionality here. So as you can see on the screen here, so we are using a trigger here for the Microsoft Form. So we with the help of the connector, so as we discussed in the last session, there are thousands of connectors that is available on the Microsoft Power Automate, which help us to connect with the different applications, whether they are from Microsoft or they are not from the Microsoft. Using those connectors, so there are connectors, using that we can connect. So here, this is basically using the Microsoft Form connector. So we have a trigger. Okay, so as soon as someone will submit a form, that trigger will occur, and then based on that it will check that, okay, what are the details that is submitted on that. It will identify that, and then it will start that approval process. So there are approval process can be implemented in the Power Automate. We will show this in the demo, that how it can be done. It can be part integrated with the Microsoft Teams, so that in your organization they can easily say that, okay, there are some approval waiting for them. Okay, so they can easily go ahead and approve or reject. And then that manual process that we were doing earlier, that will be totally eliminated here. So everything is automated here. As soon as you will submit the form, Power Automate will trigger, it will start the approval process. And once the approval is done, as you can see here, we have a control system. So it will check, okay, so what is the response, if it is approved or it is rejected. Based on that, it will go ahead and it will perform different actions. So then again, we are using that, this Excel connector here. Using that Excel connector, we are recording that information onto the Excel online. And after that, we are sending notification to the user to notify that, okay, your approval process is done, your request is approved, you will be getting your amount soon from the financial department. And if it is not, then they will get that rejection email. So you can see here this the process, which can take maybe weeks, okay, maybe days when we are doing manually. But here, as everyone is getting their notification, they can immediately take action on that, and maybe after couple of minute or maybe half an hour, 1 hour, depending on that, you will get your response, and you will get that, okay, you are going to get this amount or not, right? So that type of thing we can easily automate here using the Power Automate, and we are using different connectors to get the data from this different application which is part of the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So the third one, that is Excel Online. So this is also part of your tenant, so you can easily access if you have Office 365 subscription that you have taken, so you can use that Excel Online, and you can uh, Excel is the mostly and most widely used database, right? Earlier, there are still some companies that is using Excel as a database, so they are storing their data into Excel only, right? So nowadays, like this digital transformation is going on. Now they are moving from Excel to that automated applications, so they can digitize their business on that. But still, that was the Excel was the mostly used database, and here also we are what doing, we are storing that information of all that reimbursement records into the Excel, so that it can be easily extracted from the Power BI, or we can also create some kind of reporting in Excel itself. So this is very useful here. So anytime we want to see history of that reimbursement records, we can easily go ahead on see on that Excel, Excel Online. So if you have that access, depending on that, you can see the data easily. And maybe if it can be required by any department, right? Whether it's a HR department or finance department, so it will be available to everyone. So it's basically a centralized file that we are creating after that approval is done. Okay, so that's the third component or third application we are using for our automation. Now we are going to show you demo, and we will see that how this reimbursement process can be implemented using these different tools. Okay, so I'm passing mic to my friend Sandeep, and he will be taking care of the demo. So Sandeep, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mahendra. So am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So let me share my screen. So I will start with the Power Automate. In last session, we discussed that how you can create the flow. So whatever
Uh,
flow you will create, yeah,
Sandeep,
the screen
still
is
we are not able to see. No, I cannot see it.
not visible. Just a
Yeah,
second.
it's loading now.
Um,
It's still blank, blank page, blank white screen is.
Let me go here.
Oh,
Let me
can
let me
see.
stop first, okay, and then I
Yeah.
will say. So 1 second. Let me share again. Screen. Window. Now,
Not yet. It's loading. Yeah, we can now see my
yes.
Power Studio. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. So what I was saying that in last video we discussed that how you can create the flow. So we'll start with the Power Automate UI. So you will have better understanding that how you can create the flow and how you can manage your flow. So as you can see that whatever flow you already created, you can go here, my flows and all those flow like you created for your business, you can see here. So we'll start with the flow and we'll select automated cloud flow. And here, as we are going to take the Microsoft form, so we'll take trigger like when Microsoft form is submitted. So when a new response is submitted using Microsoft form, that is what we'll take as a trigger, and we'll name it according to our flow: reimbursement request. So you can see the first parameter we need here, that is a Microsoft form. So I'm going to create a form using Microsoft form. So as Mahendra told you that this is quite handy, you can just click on new form. And once you will click on a new form, you can see this kind of UI. From here, you just need to name the form, like reimbursement form. And after that, you will have the uh, like input types. You want to take a choice, a text, rating. So they have different type of inputs. That is what you can, based on your requirement, you can select. So we are going to select the first one is the first name, and we'll add the next one like email address, and the next one will take amount. So I'm just adding some demo fields based on your company requirement. You can take anything else, whatever required in your business. So then we'll take the date, and we'll take like multiple choice the department, like HR. And the good part, you can see like whenever you are typing something, like here Microsoft will give you some inputs. For example, I already added department here, so you can see here engineering, research, marketing, IT, training. So all these departments are visible. That is what you can select from here as well. And if you want to delete something, you can just go and delete it. So you can just click and you can see this is how you can easily add and edit from here. So that is what I'm going to have for now. If you want something, it is quite easy. Later on, you can come here and modify this form as well. So now we have this form. I will go back to the Microsoft Forms and use this form. So you can see this is the form I just created. So I will go back to the flow and we'll select this particular flow and we'll try to refresh it because I just created that flow. So I will click and select this form. Let me save it. So now our first step is ready, where this whenever this form is submitted, this trigger will run. So let me add the next step, that is the get response, get form response. And here again, we need to select the same form I created. So I will select from this list and we need to select the form ID. So we'll just click on the action and we'll select from here. So now our first step is completed. Whenever the form is submitted, this flow will trigger and we will have the response in the get response detail step. The next step is that we want approval process. Like whenever someone is submitting form, the next step that we will send a approval request to the manager, whoever we want that the person will approve. So we'll find a approval process, and that is by default in Microsoft Power Automate. You don't have to do anything. You will just go here and search. You will find, you can see different type of approval process, like wait for approval, create an approval, wait, start and wait for approval text. So we'll select this one. And once you will select this step, you will have the multiple types like approve, reject, everyone must approve. Like whenever you have multiple approval process, and in that case, like multiple email addresses you added in this process. So once everyone will approve, then only the next step will happen. And then first to response. Like if you have multiple email addresses, and even though the one person will approve, then this flow will run. Wait for all responses. So we will select this one, the first to response. So whenever the person like the will send the approval request and the first person will approve, the next step will run after that. Then we will add the title. So let me reimbursement title I will add here. And then here you need to add your manager email address, like who is going to approve that particular process. So here I will add my email address. So now we are all set. Just save it. And then the next step is to add the condition. Like if someone will, might be the person will approve it, or might be the person will reject it. So based on that, we have different processes, as Mahendra already explained. That if it is true, we'll add in Excel sheet. If it is false, then in that case, we'll just send the email that your request is disapproved. So I will use a condition for that. So we'll use the condition control. So here we have to give like the if response is, for example, so once this is approved, so that is what we have to take here and match with the approved text, and based on that we'll take the action. So we'll go here and check that from where we'll get the response, and that is the start and wait for approval step to outcomes. We'll select the outcome here equal to approve. So we'll add approve here. Save it. So now based on that, if it is true, then we are going to add a row in a Excel sheet. But before that, we have to create the Excel sheet. So what I will do is I already created an Excel sheet. That is what I will explain here. I will go in OneDrive and I created this particular flow. So easily, this is not a complicated process. You will go in OneDrive and create this kind of Excel sheet. I will show you. So this table I already created. In your case, you will just go here, add the first name, like email address. So whatever fields you want to add, you will add here, and then you will select and convert it as a table. You can just convert it as a table, and then you will able to access this table in Power Automate. So this is how you can easily create a table in Excel sheet and access in Power Automate. So let's go back to our flow. And here we'll select another step by which we can add the row, add a row in Excel sheet. So we'll add a row. This is number good. So and a row with keywords. So add a row into table, that is what we'll select. And once you will select this, so you need to specify the path from where you are selecting it. So I will use this. My path, this is from OneDrive. OneDrive. And then based on your uh, library path, you will just select from here. So I'm selecting the path where I have the file. So now I will select the file. And once you will select, you can see the table name. Like if you have 3 tables, that is what you will have in this particular drop down. I have one, so that is what I can see here. We'll save it again. And then the next step is we'll send email to the person who already initiated request. So we'll use send email v2 and send email. So we'll select this action send email v2, and here we need to select the email address to whom we want to send. So what we'll do is, for now, I will just use this. I will use my email address. We'll make it dynamic. So I will just summary. And then the email address, that is what you can add here. Let me add the name from the full name. So this is how, once the condition is true, we'll send the email. In case if condition is false, again we'll send the email. So we'll add the action and email. And you will use subject. Your request is uh, So this is the complete flow. You can see, like, when response is submitted, we'll get the response, then we'll send the approval request. If condition is true, then we'll add in Excel sheet and send email. And if disapprove, we'll send email for disapproval. The next thing is, like, whenever you are adding row in Excel, one thing we need to clear here, like, the whatever response we are getting from this particular form, that is what we need to add in this Excel sheet. So once you will click on here show all parameters, you will have all those uh, columns which you added in Excel sheet, and you can map with your Microsoft form. So you will just go here, you will select the full name, the department, the amount. So this is how, based on your requirement and whatever fields you have, you can easily map these columns, and then you can see. So now you can see our flow is ready. Let's go for testing. So what I will do is I will just click on test manual and test. I will go to that particular form we created, and I will use, and I will submit. Let's go back to the flow. So you can see in Microsoft Teams, like, once you will submit it in Microsoft Teams, you will have a approval request like this. Hope this is visible. And then you will have two buttons here, reject and
No,
approve.
the team's not visible, Sandeep.
Okay, so I shared the complete window.
We still see the Power Automate screen.
Let me one more time, I will share it. So is it visible?
No, now it's loading.
So you can see
Yeah,
like the
you can see it. Yep.
yeah. So we have two buttons here, like approve and reject. The similar kind of request will get here uh, in email as well. Again, I will share it. So you can see like we'll get the email, and that is for the approve and reject two buttons we'll have here. Correct. So I will just approve it. But before that, I will again stop and share. So we can see the flow. So I'm going to approve it using Microsoft Teams. Let's approve. So now you can see it's waiting for the approval. And now I approved. And you can see like the approved, like as I approved, it is going to true. And then we are adding a row in Excel sheet, and then we are sending an email. So let me show that particular email got here. Again, I think I need to stop and save. So this is how we'll get the response, like hello name, and then the
Uh,
message and the amount we have.
it's still not visible, that email.
Correct. So now you can see like we have the name and the message I added over there. Your request is approved for amount, and the amount is there. So this is the complete flow. This is how we can easily create create a Power Automate flow for reimbursement approval process. So entire screen. Correct. So in case like if it is disapproved, so that is what I'm going to show. What I will do is I will again run this flow in the test mode, and I click manual, and we go to the form, submit the form one more time. And submit. Let's go back to the flow. So this time I'm going to reject the request. And you can see it is going in a false condition. So this is how easily we can create a Power Automate flow for reimbursement request in your organization. So over to you, Mahendra.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep. So showcasing this demo. So yeah, so this is like how we can automate this complete manual process, and we can see how we can use different type of controls right here to identify that if this approval is done, the approval can be done over the email or the team chats, so it's easily to perform action on those quickly. So if they don't need to wait on, if they have that approval notification, and they can immediately do that, right? So there
Correct.
is no
Correct.
manual action are there. So
Correct.
this type of, and this is a this we have used a single approval process, but like that we can have multiple approvals. So if there you in your organization there are multiple approval is required, so that can be also easily implemented similar to that use case only.
Yeah,
Okay.
one thing I can add here, like right now we are using Excel sheet, but instead of that, if you want to add like we want to add this expense in our like business central or FNO, that is what we can connect here. So the process will not just limited to the Microsoft 365. We can use any kind of like ERP system or any accounting application you are using. We can integrate here, and we can log the expense there. Correct.
Yeah, so we can use any different type of connector that is available, whether it's not just the Microsoft as well. So we can go out of Microsoft stack as well. So depending on that connector, if that is there, we can use those, or otherwise we can build our own custom connector to connect to that particular application and pass this information to that here. Okay, so
Correct.
depending on that, you can pass on your ERP. So whether it's a Microsoft ERP or non-Microsoft ERP, so that information can be also followed there and posted there. So
Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
so that's what we wanted to cover in today's sessions, and we will be back with another use case, and we will discuss how we can do more automation there. And in case you have any request, or you want to see anything automated, so you can also pass your message to us, or post your the comment on the YouTube or C Sharp TV. You can post your comment there, and we will do that, take that use case, and we will showcase how we can automate that particular process. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for joining us
Thank you.
today. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Okay, bye.